In today's episode of the Whiskey Tornado, I'm giving you guys my 2019 Bourbon and Rye of the Year. The best part, they're not allocated. Welcome back to the Whiskey Tornado. I'm your host, Lance, and today I'm pretty excited to give you guys my 2019 Bourbon and Rye of the Year. Like I said in the intro, the best part of this is they're easy to find and they're not allocated as of yet. Let me first share with you guys my criteria in picking my favorite Bourbon and Rye of 2019. There's three key factors. First, it has to be available. Second, it has to taste good. And third, the price has to be right. There has to be some value there. The first piece of the puzzle, availability. I refuse to play this game that so many people are playing where they're developing false relationships with store managers and kissing their asses just to get a bourbon that nobody can find. I refuse to do it. If I can't find it when I walk in the liquor store, you're not going on my Whiskey of the Year. Second, the taste. It has to taste amazing. And third, it has to taste amazing for the price. I want value with my whiskey or bourbon or rye of the year. So those are things I looked at when picking this year's favorite bourbon and favorite rye. The great news is both of these are under $50 and you can find them in any liquor store you walk into. So let's get into the first one. And this is the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I feel like this is one that is overlooked. First, let's talk about availability. Wild Turkey Rare Breed is in literally every store you go in. Wild Turkey is a big distillery and they produce some amazing stuff. A lot of people when they hear Wild Turkey don't think great things for whatever reason. If you guys are sleeping on Wild Turkey, don't. They are producing some amazing bourbons and Rare Breed is one of them. This is an $80 to $100 bottle of whiskey in my opinion, and I picked it up for $42. It's a barrel proof bourbon, and most of the times I'm not a huge fan on barrel proofs for a couple reasons. Number one, I think a lot of distilleries can hide mistakes in bourbon because the alcohol content is so amped up and the flavors are so amped up, it can hide a lot of bad things in a bourbon. Rare Breed, you add water to this, it just gets sweeter, it gets better, you can proof it down to where you want it. It comes in at 58.4%. It is just a phenomenal bourbon. You cannot beat this stuff for $42. We're gonna get a pour and do some tasting notes in a second. My rye of the year, this one is at the moment, it's available at any liquor store you go into for under $50, 40 to 50 bucks. The thing that makes me nervous about it is Ralphie, if you guys follow Ralphie on YouTube, reviewed it last week. And it breaks my heart because I think this stuff's gonna get swallowed up really soon. So I'm gonna get a couple bottles just in case, because usually when Ralphie gives something a good review, it starts becoming harder and harder to find. And my 2019 Rye of the Year is Pikesville Rye. It is produced by Heaven Hill Distillery. It's aged at least 6 years, distilled in Bardstown, Kentucky. Comes in at 110 proof or 55% alcohol. This is just barely a legal rye. It's right at 51%, has to be greater than 51% rye to be considered a rye. This comes in at 51%, I think 35% corn, somewhere around there, and the rest malted barley. It is a beautiful rye for under $50 that you can find in any store. Let's get a pour of both of these and get into the tasting notes. All right, I got a pour of Wild Turkey Rare Breed and Pikesville Rye. We're gonna start with the Rare Breed. Let's take a sip here, or nose it first. And right from the beginning, guys, you can just tell this is a dense bourbon. It's caramel, vanilla like, almost like vanilla pound cake. It's really strong on the nose. The interesting thing that I get on this that I don't get on a lot of bourbons is pine. And that sounds like maybe it would be bad, but it's really reminds me of a good Christmas bourbon. And it's not strong pine. If you're not looking for it, if you're just going through, nosing and not really concentrating on it, and you have, a game on or something in the background, you probably won't catch it. But there is a little hint of pine in there that makes it different than a lot of bourbons, and I love that. I love a bourbon that's a little bit of an outlier, that has some piece of the puzzle that's a little different. So let's go in for the taste. Let's look at the legs first. And both of these, I know it just sticks to the glass. And you can just tell you're smelling a really good bourbon. Oh, ooh, that proof is there. It's actually, for almost 60% alcohol, it's good, but it hugs you. It lets you know it's there. But the strongest taste for me in Wild Turkey Rare Breed is like vanilla and caramel pound cake. It is delicious, and there's a little bit of that pine, just barely. The thing that I love about Wild Turkey is the cohesiveness. It's a little bit higher rye mash bill, but it just goes together so well. It's so well balanced. There aren't a lot of flavors fighting for each other. It's just all right there, and the finish is still going. It is so good. And the thing that can happen with barrel proof is they can hide a lot of mistakes. If you add water to this, you just add a little bit of water. It opens it up. It gets a little, gets sweet, really sweet, and just kind of shines. So that you can adjust the proof to where you want it. Oh man, you've got cherry there. Got a little bit of cherry. Oh, so many good flavors, really complex bourbon, but so well balanced. And you can adjust the proof to where you want it, and holds up beautifully to adding a little bit of water, just becomes sweeter. You can play with the proof. For $42, guys, this is hands down my whiskey of the year. I would put E.H. Taylor barrel proof up there, but it's an allocated bourbon and you can't find it. And if you do, it's $150, $200, $300, and I'm just not gonna play that game. So since I couldn't find it, and I can find this wins hands down. I'd be really interested to taste this and E.H. Taylor barrel proof in a head-to-head, but I had it this year at a blind tasting, and it was my #1 in a blind barrel proof tasting. But shoot, for $42, and you don't have to kiss someone's ass, and you don't have to wait in line for hours, all day, Rare Breed, all day. All right, let's get into Pikesville Rye here. Oh my goodness. It is sweet, it is rich, caramel. Here's a note I get on Pikesville Rye that I absolutely love, and that's red licorice. I don't normally eat red licorice. What's it called? I can't think of the name of it. I'm having a brain fart. Can't think of the name of the red licorice for some reason. But I hate black licorice, and so typically in some ryes I don't like them because I get that black licorice or a dill note. I do like dill, but not so much when I get it in a rye. This though is like red licorice and caramel. You can smell that little bit of corn sweetness in there, even though it's only 35% corn. Let's go in for the taste. Man, that is, you can drink that all day long. And the finish just goes forever. You get the red licorice on the taste. You get like walnut waxiness almost, so almost like a red licorice. It tastes really good. But the thing that I love about Pikesville Rye is just the mouthfeel of it. It is rich, it is creamy, it is really smooth, goes down so easy. It's sweet, it's a little spicy, but not too spicy like you get on some ryes. So a little bit of that pepper, A little bit of the rye spices coming through. Goes on and on. Oh, so good. Both of these guys, $42, $40 to $50. You can find them in any liquor store. You will not be sorry. If you're typically somebody who doesn't like rye, give Pikesville Rye a shot, because it's 51% rye but 35% corn, and so it's as close to a bourbon as you're going to get in a rye, but it is really fantastic. And I've heard a tip on ryes. If you let them air out, so if you actually pour them through a funnel in a bottle, or pour it out and then pour it back into the bottle, air really opens up ryes nicely. So I haven't tried that on this, but I'm going to. Let's go ahead, since this is the Whiskey Tornado. We're gonna blend my 2 whiskeys of the year, and we're gonna check back in a couple weeks, and we're gonna taste it against its parts. We're gonna do 2 parts Wild Turkey, 1 part Pikesville Rye, and see how it turns out. The finish on the Pikesville Rye is still going, guys. It's amazing. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you go out and get these, let me know how you like them. I promise you're not going to be disappointed. The best part is you don't have to kiss anyone's ass to get them. Love you guys, and see you next episode.